Terramana, we'll talk about it.
It's delicious.
There. Right?
It's right there.
Terramana.
Okay.
We had to make sure that the Terramana was working. I mean,
The Terramana was
vocal.
Yeah, focal point.
Yeah, she's right. All right.
Cheers!
Cheers!
Welcome to Tequila Talk Tuesday, featuring my mom!
Hi. Mama Val. I'm so excited.
Mama Val.
Careful what you wish for.
We have not had a guest on our show since
Sherry. No?
Yeah?
Sherry.
Yeah, long time, because we're not doing lives anymore. We're being very productive and pre-recording our episodes.
However, we have something in the works that we are both very excited about, but we're not saying it until
we might have a really cool guest on.
Hey, you have a really cool guest on.
We do. We're sorry, Mom. But
Yes.
Okay, but that was beside. Okay.
he's like he. Okay, I just gave that away.
Yeah, he's not The Rock, but
He's like
we'll settle for him.
We'll settle for him. He skyrocketed to social fame. Awesome dude. Like I've talked to him a couple times. Like super interesting dude. Like him. We're excited.
We're excited. That's it.
It might not be as cool as me, but
That's true.
Mom's
That's
pretty
true.
cool. I'm excited to meet Valerie because
Yeah.
since day one of Tequila Talk Tuesday, I remember watching or like going through the first episode and be like, oh Val, she's so excited. And Jenna's like, that's my mom. And I'm like, yes,
the number one.
I was so excited.
It was good. Well, my mom has some very interesting stories to share, and that's why we thought we would have her on.
Because I'm full of it.
Because we like to talk about, business and shit like that. And my mom wants to tell you what to do and what not to do, maybe.
Probably better what not to do.
Basically, so Pablo and I have been like talking about a lot about investments and like what to do with their money.
EFTs, NFTs, that
Yeah. And so we've also talked to my mom about investments and like, any advice that she can give to us.
I'm investment stupid, you guys. Just letting everybody know.
Start early.
I
Plan
tried.
ahead.
And she said, be okay with the worst thing.
Always.
Worst case scenario. If you can accept your worst case scenario, go for it.
Okay.
You gotta take a chance. My husband's a lot more, I don't want to say he's gullible, I don't want to say he has a big red S on his forehead or anything like that,
But she does. Just kidding.
but we balance it out because I'm a total worst case scenario. I'm a total positive thinker, glasses always half full or there's room for more, it's whatever, especially with tequila. But I have to be okay with the worst case scenario before I'm gonna jump into anything. So that's kind of what we did. We were looking, there was a lot of years ago, well, it was probably about 2008.
Long story short, before we jump into
Yeah.
this, worst case scenario, Mom has a house in Costa Rica.
And it is my worst case scenario.
I don't understand how that is a worst case, you guys.
Right.
I've looked into investments and stuff I downloaded the Wealth Simple app. We were looking into investing in J&J thing. Fuck, we did not. Just saying.
Mom says pardon the language.
Sorry, no, she doesn't. It's filtered on here. Shh.
Hashtag raw chats.
Yes. We were looking at all, and I just don't one of my buddies was giving me a bunch of advice and it was go big, invest big and all this stuff, and I'm just I don't have 5, 10, 15 grand to invest in stock that I don't know what to if I had an extra 15 grand to lose, fine, that would be our worst case scenario.
Absolutely.
But I at the same time I don't know. I know nothing, and so
you don't even know what you don't know.
Exactly.
What I've learned.
And what I found with all these people that were working in trades and stocks and day traders and that sort of thing is they were constantly screens open all the time on the Toronto stock market, the TSX and the UK stock market, all of these things, just making sure that everything was open so they could see when their stocks, when to buy, when to do this, and I'm just I can't, I'm good. I don't want to do that. I spend way too much time on my phone. I don't want to be doing that on my computer and be worried. I don't want to be worried. So
Well,
that's my story.
That's where property comes in.
And that's how Mom ended up with a house in Costa Rica. So tell us,
Okay.
how did you get the house in Costa Rica?
Okay. So for a worst case
Rewind 20 years ago.
no, 2008.
Oh, okay, 2008.
Well, that's a long time ago now when you think about it.
Are you
but-
sure? Because weren't we saying that like for my 15th birthday?
2009 was 11 years ago.
I know, but I graduated 2010.
Right.
Yeah,
And
so
how
this is
old are you?
before-
Or you graduated?
Okay, it adds
You're
up.
almost 30. That's a long
Okay,
time.
okay, guys. Okay, I'm
I
almost
had her when I
25.
was 2.
I'm 25.
So then, yeah. So worst case scenario, have a house in Costa Rica. Not so bad. That's why I could live with it. However, back then, we were paying off, our mortgage was going to be paid off, and what do? Looking at investments, plan for the future. Like, okay, what should we do? Well, rental properties, something dear to your heart. I work in property management. I want nothing to do with rental properties because I know all the not so fun stuff that Jenna's going to learn about, or I will tell her about, so hopefully she doesn't learn quite as hard way.
I grew up with a mom who was a resident manager for low income housing.
So you know what I'm saying?
yes,
Yeah.
100.
So I wanted nothing, and my husband is not a handyman. He's not.
Oh, mine is, but he has no patience.
Yeah. Well, so there you go. Patients are for doctors anyway. But so rental properties, no. So what else can we invest in? Because we're not just gonna, you got to be smart with your money. Because I'm only working another 2.5 years because you have to be smart with your money.
Yeah.
So he starts going to different seminars. There was like a motivational speaker kind of guy, investment dude coming around to town. So he went to one of these seminars and they were pitching this, I probably shouldn't say the name of it or whatever, but anyway, basically like this fast track to paradise and tropical
Okay.
whatever, and have your investment and you can put this much money in and you're going to get all these returns because this is great and here's what we're doing. Anyway, long story short, didn't go in with the first one. I just couldn't get to it, so I had to go to a few of these things, meet some of these people, see some of these things. There was a cute blonde pitching it, that's why he was in it. When in doubt, I'm sorry, the cute blondes sell to the men. They just do. So anyhow. And she owns a lot next to us, by the way, fun fact. But anyhow, so, but they say, so the bottom line is they were comparing where we were buying to Hawaii in the 60s. It's not quite there yet, but if you look at what property was in Hawaii in the 60s versus what you can get property in Hawaii now, it's retarded.
Yeah.
So, okay, you piqued my interest, whatever. So we hopped in and we bought some property in Costa Rica. It's supposed to be in this great development. It's going to have all these things. And, that didn't necessarily come to be. But I have the property in Costa Rica. I have my 1/4 acre of land. It is in a gated community that right now we have a really fantastic gate that guards all 6 houses out of the probably 300 and some development, whatever. But you know what? It's okay because we're all worst case scenario folks.
Yeah.
This was our dream. It's okay that it's not exactly what was sold. Well, it's not okay, but that's a whole nother story that we're fighting about, but whatever. But we still made it happen. We still have the house. I am going down there. I just sent some money last night to make sure I'm getting my retaining wall done. It's baby steps. It's not the big, beautiful revenue, investment, vacation rental, whatever that we saw the potential of in 2008. But you know what? In 2020, in the middle of COVID lockdown, I had my house to go quarantine in.
Yeah.
And should anything have gone wrong, that I would have got a false positive or a real positive and been trapped there, I wouldn't have to worry about it. I could go to my own house and I could sit on the back deck and I could wave at my monkeys in my trees and I can live with the worst case scenario.
And too, just because it's not maybe this massive revenue, you're still making money. You still
I do
have
have
it rented out.
I have a renter that I'm actually kicking out for 2 weeks that I'm going down in January. So it's paying itself and giving me a couple $100 every month on top of what it's paying. So yeah, it will pay to get the pool put in by the time I retire. So worst case is okay.
And you're still young too for like retire, right? You're retiree, right?
you.
You're welcome. but like how old will you be when you retire?
57, 58.
Okay, so
My husband's 60.
Yeah, my dad is 66 and he's still working a part-time job.
Well, how old was Grandpa?
Well, like 70.
Yeah, and my grandpa worked until he was till he fucking died, you guys.
See, and I don't want to do that.
He was a farmer, and that's, but like, obviously, like, yeah, farmer, hard work and stuff like that, but he died at 94, and he worked until he was like 85. And that's the, like, but that's the whole point.
But it's work because you want to, not because you have to. Like, I'll still do stuff. I'll maybe still have an income, but it's not going to be, I have to go to work for my 40 hours this week, and I have to do this, and I have to, it's going to be on my Pura Vida schedule.
But that's what I mean. Like, you're still very young for retiring. Like, right now, like, my dad should be working a full-time job. He's not. Dementia. Awful. But, like, that's, like, so it's really, like, your worst case scenario is amazing.
I could live with it. It's okay. It's, you know, when we got friends, we'll have kids come down, like, you know, but
Amber and Jerry are coming too, right?
Just, we have a 3-bedroom. It's really great. So worst case, you know, I can turn into, okay, so I'm not going to freeze to death, and I'll start it as a bed and breakfast and charge people minimal dollars to come down, and I'll tour them around. That's a pretty sweet retirement, if you ask me.
So for somebody in their 30s, like early 30s, or even like late 20s, what would you recommend, like, in order to retire?
Do your homework. Like, but definitely, they're never gonna. The planet is not making more land, so you're never gonna go wrong with the property investment, regardless. Like, as long as you know you have the title, it's not something that some country can swoop in and take away from you in 25 years or 50 years or 90. Like, I've heard about some places. But just do your homework. No, go there and see.
So your recommendation is definitely real estate, definitely land.
Oh, because they're not making more land. Absolutely.
Okay.
Like, I think you can never truly go wrong. Like, I can't turn around and sell it for what I paid for it right now, but do I want to? No. So who cares? I can turn it into something else.
It's a long game.
For sure.
Yeah, it's not buy today, quick return tomorrow.
Yeah, no.
It's real estate is the long game.
And you hear that from, like,
and just baby steps, right? It's
you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we hear that from a lot of really, really successful people. Is that, like, they have, like, everybody says that, like, they have a minimum of 5 streams of income, and one of them is always real estate investment, and whether or not that's rental properties, which I don't want to do. Like, just power to you. But, like, you know, like, Jerry and I were talking about doing, like, storage facilities, or like even like my husband's a general contractor. Like, he's and he's a carpenter by trade, so building a bunch of garages that people could, that sort of thing. And so doing investment, or like real estate investment properties that way. But
100%.
All right.
Okay, guys. Curveball.
Okay.
How do we feel about virtual real estate?
I find it interesting. What do you mean exactly? Because I'm like, this is all new to me. Because I'm like 30 something, but you know, that's new to me. So you tell me.
I don't know. We're getting into the all these different virtual worlds and stuff. And it was on Joe Rogan's podcast. They were talking about how people are buying virtual real estate now, and I said,
well, it's kind of like this metaverse, right? Like with Meta.
But this is your generation, even my generation. It's more going to be like my sisters, like that. Facebook was very, very smart at saying, like, the metaverse, because we associate that with, like, oh, there's just the metaverse and associate with Facebook, when in reality there's so many other things that are already out there that people don't know. And that's where, I don't know, I asked Pablo, I was like, how do we feel about virtual real estate? He said he's not into it.
But that sort of falls in our line, that falls in our line with, like, Bitcoin with me, and I know people do really great, and I know a lot of people, and they're doing awesome things. I struggle with anything I can't put my hands on.
So I follow he's called the Billionaire Coach, okay? So I follow him, and he said that the minute that the original investor, the original creator of Bitcoin comes to light, it's gonna fall. Like, it's like in a millisecond, it's gonna tank. But it's also finite. Like, there's only so many number calculation variables, whatever. Like, it's 100%. So in that way, it's kind of like land that you can't make more. But I still can't completely. My brain just won't wrap around it. And then, like, and imagine too. Like, look at, like, okay, so, like, I just think of, like, the penny. First of all, the penny was around for a really long time. It's fucking useless now. So imagine when
they make really cool floors with it.
Totally. All that epoxy.
Worst case scenario.
There you go. there she goes. Worst case scenario. But like imagine like Bitcoin, for example, like, and obviously again, investing like nothing, nobody knows nothing, but like imagine Bitcoin, by like the stocks tank and everything tanks, you're gonna lose your money, and then what do you have? You have literally virtually nothing. So
So that's worst case scenario. Don't put in more than what you're willing to lose.
But
always.
people do though. But that's
for
the thing.
sure.
It's like, because like my buddy, sweet, I just got paid. Just talking about money, I just got paid. But like I'm talking about like with my buddy always says like, you know, like you have to pay high in order to like, or you high risk for high payout. And I'm like, I don't have high risk. I've got 2 kids, I've got a mortgage, I've got all these things that I need to pay for. I don't have high risk.
And as you get older, your risk tolerance goes down too, because you don't have as much time left.
100%. And like, and so the stocks the stock market is definitely something that you would like have to play with. And whereas I feel like real estate is a lot more, it's safer, but
it's a long game.
It is a long game. When you're talking about virtual real estate, where are we talking, by the way?
It's literally, like, let's use the metaverse, for example.
How do you buy real estate in the metaverse?
It's the same thing as like NFTs, like, and that's what people are struggling to understand. It's like, well, how do you own? How do you own an NFT when it's like digital? I can like screenshot it off of my phone.
Yeah.
But it's whatever to do with like the blockchain or some shit that like it is specific to you. Same thing of owning like an original Picasso. They can do whatever testing to know that it's like OG, you know?
Yeah.
And it's the same sort of thing. So basically, they were saying that there's going to be, let's use the metaverse, land, people can build houses, whatever, and people will have museums that will have their NFTs on display in there that then you can still go and purchase. So again, like, I don't know too much, I'm just getting started into it.
So are they
like
trying to turn
educating
us all into these nerds that just sit in their basement in their fancy
100%. No. It's the Wall-E movie. We're gonna turn into fat people in the floaty chairs.
See,
that is what I imagine.
I just want to be the hot old lady in the floaty chair in the middle of my pool with my Terramat.
See, but like, you are the hot old lady. Not old.
Thank you.
She's
Well,
not
I-
old-ish. You guys. In the floaty, like in the floaty pool, the pool floaty, not floaty pool.
I just think at the end of the day, any sort of investment, you just have to be okay with the worst case scenario and don't. I mean, you can do what you want, but yeah, do it smartly.
Because we can what if it to death, and you know, if everything would have worked out and it was what we were sold, and you know, things would be great.
And then looking at hindsight, like, do you know how many people look at like oh well, like, you know, when Google started, I was like, I could have put $10 in Google and I would have. Well, that's hindsight. How the fuck do you know what Google's name?
And you know, where we have our development, the owners that we have there, I've met some of the most amazing people. I've got some really great new friends. And they're all awesome people. We all weren't idiots. And you know what? We're going to turn the development into something that's actually people are going to like way better than what we were sold anyway. We're doing it ourselves. So it's it's almost better in that way. Like, we've learned so much more. We've made better connections with people. Like,
and because of all of those, you can see like the perspective of people, of like the type of people that would be wanting to come and rent your property.
Exactly.
So here's a question. When people are looking into real estate property, virtual or tangible, whatever it is, how do you determine what the worst case scenario would be? I know you said like, well, and like, but like there has to be a baseline though, because there's a lot of people that like,
oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
So for us, because we played around with a bunch of things, because obviously we don't want to work harder than we have to.
Totally.
We want to retire as young as we can, and we want to enjoy our life, and we want to travel, and you know, just like,
you don't want to work
be
for
healthy
40
and
years and then like have to die at 11.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's fun.
Yeah.
So we just look at, we don't do any, you got to balance the risk.
Yeah.
It's all the risk. Can we afford to lose this? And you know, are we going to wind up starving on the street homeless if we lose this money, or can we make it through? Okay, we don't want to lose it. Nobody wants to take $10,000 and flush it down the toilet. Like, and I have said to my husband a couple times, could we at least just flush it down the toilet so I could watch it spin a bit? But you know, that maybe would have been more fun at the time. But you know, education is expensive, so I chalk it up. This is all education, and as long as we have, for us, it's our steady employment. we have our paychecks, we do our job, you know, you have your plan, we're really frugal and diligent, and we set a plan.
Not
and,
frugal,
you know,
you're smart.
well, yeah, and in, you know, and in with saving for a retirement, whatever, we're not throwing a bunch of stuff. My house is awful, needs a lot of updates, but my house in Costa Rica is freaking amazing.
There you go.
And I'm going on my winter vacation every year. We're still planning cruises with a bunch of our friends and doing things. We still, you know, are able to come and hang out with the kids and take a day off and whatever, right? And you still have to live in with everything. So as long as you can juggle that, and it's very individual. How much are you willing to sacrifice to try to make this happen so you can afford it?
I also think that it doesn't have, like, okay, so like when you said like I don't want to lose $10,000, I'm gonna speak to this for a second. And education is expensive. I hired a coach that costed me $10,000. I made this much money from having her as a coach. And that was $10,000 close to $10,000 down the drain. I'm still here, you guys.
Was it down the drain though? Did you learn stuff from it?
No,
nothing.
No,
sorry.
I could take free trainings. I literally took free trainings from Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi that I swear to God she took and repurposed, just the free trainings.
Yeah.
Had
you known?
So yeah, exactly. Yeah. Had I known. So like I took 10,000 and I'm still here. We're still okay. And I feel like a lot of people take those type of investments. It's like what we were talking about earlier today. You can't move forward unless you risk something.
Absolutely.
You can't.
With anything.
With anything. Investments, money, education, anything. You can't move forward unless you risk something. And so, but I still
you have to be able to manage your risk though. It's all about risk management.
Yeah. I feel like, well, we talk about mindset all the time too, and I feel like if your mindset's not there either, if your energy's not behind it, it's not gonna work either. Totally. So what would your advice be to all of our
moral of the story?
Yes, our moral.
Moral of the story. You know what? Go for it. Like worst case scenario. Take a look. Honestly, really, we have been asked, like, because we're, like, I'm 55, my husband's 57 or 8 or something. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, we're getting up there.
Math.
25 years young. Okay.
Yeah, math was never my number. Anyway, I guess math is. Anyhow, we were actually just last year sitting around where we were actually on our deck in Costa Rica, you know, on the couch at night, listening, watching, going, so do you regret anything? Are you sorry? Like, how do you feel now? Like, we're actually here. It's just the two of us. And it's like, because we have been asked a lot, would you do it over again? And no, now to ask me today at this age, no, I wouldn't do it over again. If I was 20 years young, oh, wait a minute. I was 20 years younger when I started this. Yeah, we would have still done it then the same way as now. Now, going into whatever, I would definitely do it differently. I wouldn't go, you know, but we were being sold.
Like if you knew that you had an
sold like a ground floor development, undone, whatever. You know, we're being sold a dream. You got something you can't even see, and you're putting so much trust in so many other people, and that's where it kind of the dream.
And that's not your fault though. That's like the other.
We still have our property. We still have our title.
Yeah.
We still have whatever, and we can still make our own dream come
So
true.
would you say
just change the dream? It's okay.
Would you say do something that individually you have more control over?
I would have put, I can't even say I would have put more, we did our due diligence, we did whatever. You know, less trust, more facts. Know for sure what you're getting into. Know whether or not, for certain, the rules of countries, maybe do a little extra homework. I trusted a whole lot in what the developers were saying, rather than knowing Costa Rica property law.
Professionals.
I totally did. And you know what? Don't take it at face value that someone, you know, they come off really good. I mean, salesmen are salesmen. They do good for a reason. Like, you know.
I also feel
and it's okay.
I feel like,
and go with your gut. Always go with your gut.
I was going to say this because it's always this or something better.
Always.
So you could this or something better. So this is your something better phase. You know what I mean? I also feel like, tequila's got the best of me again. Don't know what I was gonna fucking say. Amber's sweating.
I thought that was because when you get to be like, I'm only 54.
Yeah, exactly.
Scratch that. I'm not 55 yet.
Yeah, no, she's still young. That's what I said. She's still young. I also feel. Oh, this is what I was say. What I was gonna say. I also feel like if you're gonna go, you're gonna go with your gut. You're gonna do things. You're gonna have experiences. You're gonna take risks. It sounds, again, queen of cliches, me and Jenna, and well, mostly me, because I really liked doling out the
Hey, find
cliches.
something you're good at.
Cliches, Valerie. We don't leave this life with money, okay?
Your box is only so big.
Exactly. We're not gonna go anywhere with the money. Like, I'm sorry, the Egyptians were wrong. We're not. You can bury me with as much gold and jewelry and clothes as you want, but I'm not leaving this world with it. So. What boggles me is why people hold so hard onto all of these monetary things, and we're not going to go anywhere with it. You're going to die, and you're going to have $10,000 in the bank account. Well, fucking spend it. Obviously not
if it makes
frivolous
you happy.
things. If it makes you happy, and if it also prepares you for the future. If you have kids, spend that $10,000 on an investment that's going to value your kids. You know what I mean? Like, I have a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old, 3-year-old. She's 3. And I obviously want to make sure that they are set up for the future. So I'm not going to go out and I'm not going to spend, $100,000 on a brand new whatever vehicle.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend $100,000 on their education, on an investment portfolio for them in order to go and better their future. You know what I mean? Like, use your money wisely in order to set up your future, because we all leave the same way we came in.
Yep.
Naked, with nothing.
Right? Yeah, and worst case scenario, I've got some daughters that are going to be fighting over who's going to have to pay the property taxes.
Jenna's like,
More of me.
Yeah. Fun fact, Costa Rica taxes, people can tell you whatever they want, they're not awful. They have all sorts of stupid extra little taxes. There's a 13% VAT tax, value-added tax.
Mm-hmm.
It's all over the place, but push come to shove, I have... So between my lot, I have corporations. So I have 2 lots. I have 2 corporations. One lot has a house on it. The property taxes run whether you have raw land or whether you have a house on it. Doesn't matter what's on it. 2 different prices. Boom. That's what it is. So it's essentially about a quarter acre for the size of the lot with my house on it, and it's like $600 US a year. So it's not awful. No.
That's
Moral of the
not
story:
awful.
buy some land in Costa Rica.
Considering Calgary property taxes just went up.
Just know your area. And I do have an extra piece of land if anybody's interested, just saying one of these days, because the development is happening.
So DM us for any
Hashtag not financial advice.
Not sanctioned or whatever.
Tequila fueled, you guys.
You do
fueled.
you, but hey,
Yeah.
reach out. Okay, cheers.
Cheers! I don't have my glass.
See you next